Interesting. Okay. This is me pushing my glasses up on my nose. We're about to begin the beginner's guide. All right. He was going to say it sounded like I was by the water somewhere. My guess is that we're somewhere in the south, by the water in a humid area. I don't know. Yes, begin the beginning. It's like the returners returning. We get a lot of jokes about that with my band. All right. Beginner's guide. Please make sure audio is on. Audio is on. I can hear audio. Can you hear audio? Controls, they're like, this is the camera, this is the walk, this is the singles.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davy Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff. And
hold on, somebody has requested audio, closed captioning, full captions. Okay, there we go. Continue.
His work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make.
Let's try this again because I think I did it wrong. No, I did it right. There should be captions. Okay.
So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I hadn't finished looking at that one. I wanted to look at it some more. Do I have to? Okay. So we're going to take a moment to think about what we're doing. Also, that door is not sized for me, I don't think, but I'm still going to get through it because I don't have a crouch button. Bye, Blues. So I don't know if this is a conceit or if this is like actually like his actual friend, or if he's gonna like reveal that actually his friend has been dead all along, or that his friend never existed, or what. Okay, this looks a lot like part of it's part of Stanley Parable. We had some absurd robot-y things happening. Oh my gosh, Benny Kitty. I actually might just...
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Music is interesting. Whisper machine is such an interesting, like, there's just so much ambiguity there in calling it the whisper machine, you know? Oh, jeez.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Hostile alien life forms. I bet I'm the hostile alien.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
This door.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shield evacuation.
I can't get through the door. I thought the door opened. Not very good at this game. Oh, look, there's space. Hey, space.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this road.
Oh my god. What? Oh my god. Okay. I guess I can shoot space. Oh, there's like smoke. Hi. Oh, I see what he means. Aw. Okay, well. I am immediately curious about whether Coda is a real person or not. Oh, jeez.
Apparently
jeez.
the space station has a labyrinth on it.
Yes.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of
No,
time,
you
I'm
can't
just
do it.
gonna
No,
skip you on
no,
that.
no, I don't want. No.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Huh. Oh, I wonder what would have happened if I'd gone back into the labyrinth. Because I'm not yet sure what my relationship is with the game developer, the game story, agency, or lack of agency.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
So you get a bonus bit of dialogue if, like me, you are indecisive. Look, the window's dirty. What an interesting detail. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can get him to say something else. Can I get back out through the door? No. Okay. There was such a degree of meta-narrative in Stanley Parable, and the dialogue in this game is, like, the narration is clearly scripted, so I'm kind of... I feel like I'm about to be played, but that I'm going to enjoy it anyway. Well, let's do it.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere, and this is what happens instead.
Oh, now I'm in space. Look at me in space. Oh, hey, look, there's a labyrinth.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
It's interesting also. When did the Stanley Parable come out? No, Huh.
So try walking backwards. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh my god, that's the coolest! Holy cow! Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm really excited about this. Oh my god, I would totally play a game that was like this. Thank you, Volosite. I suspect that the timing of when Stanley Parable came out is going to be significant to this game.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
I'm sold. Let's see if I can manage. Oh my gosh, there's a room that wasn't there before. I missed it before. Okay. She stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Oh my gosh. Hey, Skilto. Well, if you read the description of the stream and what we're doing, we do flute music another time, but we're not doing flute music right now. Where did you find my stream if you were looking for flute music? I haven't done flute music in a little while. I'd like to. I plan on doing more. In fact, this week I'm probably going to do a live stream recording of Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls on flute, but Oh, well that's sweet of him, but no, I'm not doing flute stuff right now. Yeah. So the team is for, sorry guys, while we're in the middle of playing this game, the team is for people who have things in common, and I am a Twitch musician. I lead a video game cover band. We sometimes stream. I also do solo covers on YouTube and sometimes stream practice and things like that. So I do play flute, but not everybody who is a musician plays every single stream with music, so. No, I'm afraid I don't have, my bot doesn't have a YouTube channel thing in there, but social, there you go. I have a lot of Let's Plays. I haven't been doing as much music lately, but I have a whole bunch of things I'm sitting on that I need to post videos of, so probably in the next month there'll be a bunch, so you'll find some things there. There's flute and a lot of singing and some things from my band, and I might even, if I can get my hands on some video from the convention that we played this past week, and we played 3 shows, and if I can put up clips from that, I absolutely will. So thank you for dropping by, and I hope that you'll enjoy the music when it comes around. But for now, we're playing a game that's supposed to be an emotional experience. We'll see how it goes. So the future is always behind her. Look at that ceiling. It's all weird. How will she find the strength to go forward? To confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Okay, I actually
Which to
enjoy
me
that.
is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
So is he actually, like, seriously just talking through what he thinks is interesting experimental game design as somebody who helped work on an experimental game? Okay, so you cannot leave the path. You can't go past this. Like, did his friend really make this game? Did he make this game? You are now entering... Do-do-do-do. Oh. Look, sometimes signs are interactive, and I get really excited. Like, did you know you can heal the signs that you break in the 3D Zelda games?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Oh, hi, Nuzralf. Thank you.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
So, I mean, do you guys mind if I just kind of babble about my commentary on his commentary and the games, the things like this? Because if what we're doing here is talking about the meaning of art and games being the art form that we're particularly looking at, but kind of extrapolating from there, thanks, Stolen Light. But yeah, if, thank you. Okay, well, so there seems to be this fascination with the, I don't know exactly how to say it, but the auteur, the A-U-T-E-U-R. Please forgive me, I think it's a French word, and my French accent is not good. I'm too American for that, unfortunately. But there's this idea of like the like brilliant creator, the artist whose vision is too pure to be understood by this world. And I actually find that immensely frustrating. Because I think that oftentimes people mistake something being obtuse with something being deep. Like, oh, because it is hard to understand, that makes it meaningful. And I don't think that's where he's going with this, because he, like the previous piece, not the one with the sign, but the one before that with the walking backwards, was clearly, it was actually trying to explore something. It was trying to use gameplay to get something across, and was sort of thinking a thought that might be important. But otters are definitely one of my favorite animals. Which is, sorry, tangent. I get distracted from my distractions. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. But no, so I don't think that's what he's gonna do, and I actually think I'm choosing to put my trust in the guy who's narrating this meta narrative. But I'm choosing to trust him because of the Stanley Parable, that he's not going to mistake, like, again, the difficulty of understanding with quality of message, or artistry, because sometimes a thing being complicated is, people are like, oh, that means this person's a superior artist. If it's too easy to understand, it's just for the masses, it's not good. There's a quote by Renoir, which I actually have always loved, that says, to me, a painting should be something beautiful. There are enough ugly things in the world to add to it, or add to them, or there's enough ugliness in the world. And I'm paraphrasing a translation, so I'm sure the actual quote is not exactly that. But it's something I've carried with me since I was in middle school, which is the idea that art can be beautiful. And I think that art can be beautiful and meaningful, but a lot of times seem to think that like art can be beautiful / accessible, or it can be meaningful. And I don't know. I don't agree. So I am very curious to see where our narrator takes us in this. So that's, it's kind of like I had problems with, are you guys familiar with David Cage, the composer? He's the guy who did 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Oh, good. That's an interesting sound effect. Anyway, I'm sorry, Davy. I'm sorry, Davy, but you're stuck with me. This is, in fact, the player that you are stuck with. I am this player, and I'm doing it anyway. You can't tell me that there's nothing over here. I'm gonna go over there anyway. Yeah, well, I think Calvin and Hobbes, I mean, I don't know that I remember that strip particularly. Oh, it's dark over here. Is that significant? Calvin and Hobbes is a great example of something that is very accessible, and yet I would say it's actually got some of the deepest... oh, something is off about the... No. Oh, I think it's just my eyes. No, 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 no. That is definitely crooked. Yes. Wait, no. Wait, no. I thought it was crooked the other way. Oh, it must just be the way I'm standing and looking at things. Anyway... yeah, like 4 minutes and 33 seconds is basically the idea of it is that you sit there in silence for that amount of time, and the sound, the music is what fills the room while the musicians aren't playing. So people coughing, people shifting in their chairs, cats making noises, babies yelling, etc. I hated John Cage when I was younger. Could not stand him. Thought he seemed like the most pretentious pile of garbage ever. It turns out he's actually, like, he was a very playful, gentle person who really had a great sense of humor and was very humble. And so he was playing with the idea of, well, does that count as music? Instead of being like, I am making a statement about music, and if you don't appreciate it, you're just not sophisticated enough for me, which is kind of what I interpreted it as when I was younger. And I've always been somebody who's leaned more on the side of things being beautiful and accessible rather than inaccessible. But I think that I'm not very good at going lower. Oh, I definitely have slowed down going up the stairs. Oh.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Huh. Okay, so going up backwards doesn't really make a difference. Okay, guys, so just so you know, I am this stubborn. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with me being this stubborn? So the thing with Minikitty with beauty is that it is entirely subjective, and so sometimes you have to kind of define your own definition. Like, you have to define beauty for yourself. And my definition of beauty is not simply aesthetic, so I have to clarify that. I actually generally don't chrono, although I appreciate them. I like their most radio-ready music, but I'm not a huge fan of them. Oh my gosh, Nox, you're such a cutie. Okay, so, okay, fine. Okay. Actually, I wonder what happens. Will it slow me back down if I go all the way down and then up again? I wonder, can I, Okay. Let's find out. This song doesn't seem appropriate to be singing here. Okay, so because it doesn't slow you down when you go back up, but I had to find out because I wanted to know. Yeah, experimental films, I don't know. Okay, so this is like... Oh, these are like ridiculous game ideas. Sharks are trying to eat you simultaneously.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
That is impossible to get to without cheating. That is interesting. You are a gate.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Betting you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work. I know people who would make games like this. What? No, I wasn't. Ah! No, I wasn't ready to move. Ah, that's gonna keep happening, isn't it? This game is not slow enough for me, clearly. Nox, it's okay. It's okay, Nox. How interesting. And I've known people who've been told that they're cold, and they're like, no, I just have a different way of engaging with people. Ready, set, fish. I wonder whether there's something specific that they're doing with the fact that, because I don't have a choice about when to move on to, and yes, I'm going to do this every time. I am this player. I guess you guys know that by now. I don't have a choice on when I'm ready to move on. Okay. I do... I'm really, really interested in the beginner's guide to making games or beginner's guide to life. I kind of wonder. Stanley Parable did a pretty good job of being both like mundane, accessible, funny, and also trying to say a few things. It's interesting, like, it really does feel like a particular person made these designs, because there's a specific way that the lighting comes from below here, where like the ground has a cutaway and light coming from through it that seems to be consistent throughout these games. Like, that's an aesthetic that he enjoys, provided that he actually exists. But we'll take him as a
this is
character
new
at
for
the very
Coda.
least.
It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Oh gosh. I opened a door. Oh, now it's really dark. I guess I have to turn the brightness on here. Yeah, I don't know that I have what it would take to be a game tester. Okay, let's make the game brighter. Contrast 2, brightness 2. Nope, that was the power button. Nox! I accidentally turned the monitor off. Nox. Nox, let's try this. 2. Brightness. Oh, the brightness is all the way up. Okay, well. Options. Video. Do I want to change anything here? Multi-core rendering. Multi-core sounds like either like a cross between a Hydra and a Manticore, or some sort of weird, obscure YouTube music cover genre that's just people screaming. I don't know. Bring up the anti-al of dab. How much do I want? What do I want to do here? Do I want to do this one? Max, you sure? My computer can handle it? Okay. Is there anything else I want to get that I want to turn on? Anything? Anything else? Nox, you're a baby. You guys needed your little kitty moment. Filtering. Okay. Trilinear. Whoa! We're gonna do this? Is this good? My computer is pretty hot right now, though. Like, I've got my leg, like, against it, and it is definitely warm. So I should... Wow! Holy crap! That's not good. Why is my computer overheating? Why is my computer so hot, guys? What can I do to make it less hot so it doesn't melt? Is it gonna melt? It's warm. Like, almost uncomfortably warm to the touch. Okay. Well... Haha. No, I haven't. What did I accidentally do? controller stopped working. Let's try this again. I can't see dust in it. See, that's like kind of what I've got going for me. Is like, is there dust in the front here? Sometimes I can get dust out of there. I mean, I dust the front of it. Well, let's see what happens. Apply. Oh, it changed the size thing. Back. Back. Continue. I do, Chrono. I can't see anything. And my monitor is on full brightness. This is not going to be a very good puzzle experience, is it? Do I want to go backwards through the wall? Backwards was the answer before. So this is a puzzle.
Alright, let me just walk you through it. You're gonna hit the switch on the outside to open the door, then hit the same switch and walk through the door before it closes. You'll see a second switch on the inside, which will open the second door. Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, look at this. There's like 3 little dots on the wall. What do those 3 little dots mean? Right, well, Davy is interesting. There's no way to get back. There's a lot of these drops that you can't quite do. Yeah, no, he's totally backseating. I wonder why this is here, though. Meta backseating indeed. Okay. It's pretty. And look, see, he's got these really weird concept of lighting. Like, it's just... He doesn't believe in direct lighting, which is fine. Direct lighting actually...
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press the Use key on your gamepad, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Alright, you guys ready? Go! There's like...
How about that?
Pathways.
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Oh no, we're here again. What if I don't want to be here? You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
So at this point, I'm inclined to say I think he's reaching for meaning and he's seeing connections that aren't there. However, he has played more of this person's games than I have, so he is able to say, oh, well, I have played more games and I know there's more to them. But I would be like, I think this guy, right now, I would be like, this guy is just kind of playing around. He's doing.
Let's talk about video game
experiments.
development for a second.
All right, educate me.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay. This looks like
To
a
make all of
restaurant.
these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
That is
You
a
might
good
consider
point.
paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
The streetwise fool. That sounds like a character I would like. He has a nice aesthetic sense, though. Like the balance in here and the colors and the lighting, everything is very attractive. You know, like whether it's your aesthetic or not, like there is an aesthetic. Oh, hey, look, there's a handicapped bathroom. Or at least a handicapped door. That's cool. Way to at least think about accessibility. Huh. Oh. But what if I want to go over there instead of down? My gosh, okay, well it's weird there. I want to do it. Can I do it? Can I? Yes, I can! It doesn't accomplish anything, but I did it and I'm proud of myself. Is there anything else on the outside here, or shall we go in? There's a staircase. Should we go up or should we go down? I am Sam. Okay, so that answers that. Can't go through any of the doors except for the one that magically opened for me. And so we're going to have to go down the stairs into something that completely changes the aesthetic and style. Are these lockers? I think they're lockers. I could be wrong. Yeah, so you notice how like here, like things aren't properly textured, and I don't know if that's supposed to look in progress or science fictional. I think it's supposed to look in progress. My goodness. Hi, buddy. Okay. Okay, well that answers that. Cool. Okay, cool. Oh, I broke my legs. No, I didn't break my legs. I mean, there's probably a somewhat less dramatic way that I could have done that. Maybe. Where should we jump to? Okay, well, we're just gonna jump to here. Okay, we jumped there. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I hope I'm not missing everything. I think I'm probably gonna want to go there. I don't know whether we missed anything. I don't know that this is that kind of a game. Either the meta narrative or oh hey look, we're back into texture. Speedrun tech, yes. It's a very interesting thing. Alright. So we could just jump off the edge here, but I think I'm gonna follow the stairs like I'm supposed to. There's like this weird like shadow like you see coming off of that circle. I generally stay away from absolutes, Medikitty. Oh, Nick. Yeah, secret dog ending, huh? Ah, okay, so I couldn't have jumped off. That's glass that I noticed. Okay. And I wouldn't say that all art is entertaining. And I would not say that all entertainment is art. What? No! I want to... I don't know what that is, but I want to get to it. It tells me... My gamer sense tells me that if I touch that, I'm gonna get lore. Oh, hey! Oh, that's creepy. I was like, oh, light. Oh, I think a door just opened or closed. Did this? Oh, I guess maybe it's just a lamp. Well. Which way should we go? This is not a way. And I can't jump. This is also not a way. I'm sorry, guys. I have to check every nook and cranny. Okay, this is weird. Oh, I'm hearing static on a radio. Am I about to get eaten by a bad guy? Am I? Are these grates that are opening? Are monsters gonna come eat me? Gosh, I hope not. I'm really, really not feeling being eaten by monsters. Like, not that any day is like the day that you wake up and you're like, yeah, you know it would be great being eaten by monsters. But some days you feel less like being eaten by monsters than others. No, not Grooves. Do you see how much light there is? Grooves are, I think, the one monster I'm not afraid of. Okay. There weren't any others that did that, no. See, again, Many Kitty, you're talking about absolutes. I think that people tend to like the things that they grow up on. Oh, no, I wanted to get off there. No, I wanted to get off there. You're not letting me get off there. Why? No. Disapproval. Okay, fine. Railroad me.
This prison,
put me in a sail.
Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Oh my god, this guy.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
That is amazing.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
Oh my god.
Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
This is why Stanley Parable was a good fit for me. Because it's made by somebody who would think to do that, just in case. So his friend is the weird person who's kind of on the outside of humanity. Which is kind of an archetype in itself, you know? But yeah, no, the sass is definitely there. And that's like overtly humorous. Like, that is definitely sassy, dry humor. That tells us a lot about Coda as a character. Coda is somebody who... Oh, hey, look. I wonder if there's glass on this one, too. Oh, yes, there is. I just want to plunge down your circular depths, okay? And I can't because there's glass in the way. It's like you knew that I was going to do this. And you said, no, Lauren, you don't get to do that. Well, I guess there's not a floor lamp here to entice me in, so never mind. I'm just gonna go into... Oh, hey, look, we're outside. There's, like, sunlight and stuff. What is with this? Why does it have this? Oh, look, there's a door. Oh, my God.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Well, look, I think trolls generally do what they do because they think it's funny. And
there's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Well, therefore, I am obligated to come up with my interpretation is before you, Mr. Davy, have a chance to tell me yours. Because I want to come up with my own theories. Yeah, well, I think trolls usually think they're funny. But the thing is, the difference between what we think of as trolling and what Coda would do giving that is like what Coda did was there's like nobody was suffering for it. Nobody was the butt of the joke. And he maybe was making a point, which is like, I disagree with you in a strong way. Gadfly is a literary term? Well, I suppose I could have gone down through the room. But that is what the game developers want me to do. And I'm convinced there might be secrets. No floor. The game does seem to look better. Look, see, there's again that weird recessed lighting. Like, this is his thing. Lighting-wise. No, but I think that there's, I mean, if we're going to read into things, but that puzzle, like, there may be something about the, like, the way in which you must choose to lock yourself in to proceed onward. Well, I think troll can have two meanings. One of them is just, like, being kind of obnoxious in an attempt for humor, and one can be like actively negative. But yeah, no, there is a way that you can do something obnoxious to try to make a point, and it's not inherently bad. Huh. Oh, see, that's intentional. That is trying to do something. Again, I don't know whether this person is actually deep or just somewhat juvenile, trying to be deep by putting incomprehensible things.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the buttons on your gamepad to respond.
Let's be honest. So you don't get to answer yes. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Well, it's true. Somebody else told me how to do it. Door. Which is not this door. That's the door I came through. Alright, so we move on through a narrow hallway. He does a very nice job. Like, again, like, look, there's a lot of aesthetic sense here. Oh, hello again, friends. Oh, hey, I played the Stanley Parable. Haha! Thank you for following. Yay! New friends. Let's see.
So we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Yeah, no, the turning heads to indicate whether they're listening or speaking. Like, that's actually really cool. Like, that's a neat, interesting, artistic, unique decision. Like, but I like the texture on this wall. It looks very textured. You know, like an actual wall. Oh, it's dark. Oh, it's dark. And now we're in nighttime. And there's, oh, hey, look, there's lampposts in the title screen. Yes. And also it's very, like, intentionally on something. But this looks like a courtyard in a school.
It's a lamppost.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
That's why it's in the title.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them.
So this
and as
is
we
what
go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
This is what I want. Like, this is where I'm like, okay, I'm taking your word for it that there's more to it than that. Because you know more than I know, and you're telling me that there is more. Well, now he's telling us this game's connected to this. Haha. So, as you walk around, you can leave notes. I'll let you see you're left by other players. Oh, I love the idea of this. I wonder if it really is. Games that try to be deep but aren't. I would say Everybody's Going to the Rapture has some meaningful and significant, and one might say deep, things to say about human nature and explorations of, like, human failings, and that's actually deep, but then it tries to do something with its science fiction story that I think it thinks is really deep and I think is really, really ineffective and juvenile. I was very disappointed by the end of that game. So, that was my thought. And the people who write it they're very good at character development and dialogue. Dear Esther is by the same people, right? Oh, look at that! Oh my gosh. Can I leave messages? No. Alright, I'm now playing the game. They hit it! They hit it on the keyboard! Nox, can you believe they did that? Can you believe they tried to prevent me from jumping? Because they knew that I was going to be playing the controller. Oh, Nox, I need to give you your fluids. You look a little tired. Okay, well, we're going to do that. Kind of tin kelp, but I haven't tried the keyboard. Alright, Nox, let me give you a lap that you can settle it, okay? Yeah, so that company and I do not agree about storytelling or the way of creating what is a walking simulator game. So, let's see what does this person have to say. Ha! Oh no, are these going to be mean things that people said? Whatever, people can be nice.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Sometimes that happens.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
Okay, yeah, because Davy sounds like he might actually be a fairly social, talkative person. Huh. So he's like imagining the complaints that people would make about his game being incomprehensible. That's an interesting idea. Oh, there's more, but I think it's somewhat less common in games. Huh. Oh, that's fun. I bet you can't even go this way. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Cyber. See, that would be me.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Do we believe him?
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness.
Yes, they do.
I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
There you go, define fun. All right, Manny Kitty.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him.
I think that's probably the
and
point.
I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game
Internet.
and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing, I could just get to know you through your work.
That's an
I think
interesting
this is why
thing.
I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Like, these are so interesting. It's like... his imagining of what people would say about his game. Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny. So interesting. He's like identifying himself as being misunderstood by others. But if he doesn't actually give people the choice or the chance to play his games, then is he actually misunderstood? An acorn and the sailor's looking for it? I don't know what that means. A little too on the nose? Okay, so I can't jump off the edge. Well, I guess we'll move on. But to me, like, I would say this is a person who really wants to be understood, who thinks that nobody understands them, but hasn't actually given people truly the opportunity to understand them. And maybe this is a point of frustration because I know a lot of people that have been a little dramatic about the lack of connection or lack of understanding, and in some cases it can be because they think they're better than everyone else and so nobody understands them. And then there are people who have like legitimately tried to connect and been rejected, but I find that they tend not to have the bitterness that is inherent with some of these bubbles here. Maybe they do when they're younger, so I wonder how old Coda is. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a mindset, obviously, that has never been my mindset. But I think a lot about people and what they think. Like, right now I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about Coda. I think I'll have to get to know him better. And then there's little things like this. And there's like these like little like nuggets of incredible positivity stuck amongst this like cynicism of what people would say if they could say something. And these feel more like these are the creator speaking. And then his imagination that other people won't understand him. Yeah. I am compelled. See, like, that's interesting. Oh. But I can. I've kind of heard that about Life is Strange, that it doesn't quite manage what it tries to accomplish. What is that painting? That's a good question. Is that a... It's not matter if you ever get over there. I did not play Life is Strange. Oh gosh. See, Catcher in the Rye is one of those things that is meaningful once you realize that part of the point is that the main character is wrong and doesn't know what he's talking about. And the more he talks about, the more he talks about how he knows, he doesn't. This is a note, is it now? That offset lighting. I read Catcher in the Rye when I was young enough to not hate it, but I also didn't. I was quite aware at the time that it was not for me. Today I learned you cannot fall. Yes, you are definitely not supposed to, like, it is not for not for grown-ups. Huh. Interesting. Double Tower Star. Oh, it's on all of you. You kind of wonder, like, are any of these messages that he is saying for himself, like saying to himself? Help, I'm trying to speak again. Is that a little too on the nose? Let's see. Cabbage shapes our nation. That was there again. What's the deal with the cabbage? Ha! Stop pretending you are other people. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Kind of a little bit of self-deprecation there and also a little bit of bitterness. Devil Tower Star. Can somebody tell me what the numbers are for the Devil card, Tower card, and Star card are? The Devil... Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what the Devil means. I mean, temptation, but that's not it. Tower is catastrophic change and Star is hope. This, to me, reads like how he feels. He doesn't actually exist in his games. Yes, there is. The star is hope. More self-deprecation. Yes, there is. There's the sun, the moon, and the star. 15, 16, 17. Thank you, guys. Okay. Interesting. Sequential. I just really like tarot and enjoy doing tarot readings for people. So, hey, if we're ever at an event and you want a tarot reading, let me know. I'll have tarot cards with me.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it.
Hear the whispers?
And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Interesting. I like the whispers here. Cut it up and spread it between worlds. So this is again telling us he's got his secret and he's sharing his secret in all of his games. I wonder whether he said what he wanted to say and then disappeared. Oh, is that significant, Cyber? Is 15, 16, 17 a thing? Okay. Come on with the spiraling nonsense. Whispering.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
That's interesting, if he uses it as a closure. Interesting sound. Okay.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
So, like, this is his way of processing something. Presumably processing his great secret, because there's kind of a number of these messages here have reference that there's something he'd like to say. Oh, you hear the keyboard with the typewriter. Oh, it's a giant typewriter in there, I see. Hear and see. No, it's not? Oh no, it's a ton of typewriters. That's an interesting decision.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Huh. Huh. Well, now I know I can jump on things. Eh? Alright. Well, maybe I can't jump on things. Oh, I can! Why isn't there a jump button? Spin its own wheels for a few minutes, it says. Okay. Oh, there's a door that I opened. And I'm gonna go through it. Oh look, there's some circles. Okay, this is super 70s. Which I guess makes sense with the title, kind of the feel of like this totally sweet pad. I don't know. The music. So the previous game was about being desperate to communicate and connect with somebody else. While being self-deprecating, but also perhaps being a little bit judgmental towards others. Judging oneself and others. Wouldn't know anything about that. So now we're in a little hole.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Furniture ought to go in the center of the room. TV with surround sound. That doesn't look like a TV. Along the wall of the room. A huge picture of a horse. Ha ha! Ha! This is lamp. Ha! Ha ha! These are actually all pretty funny. So what you say never makes a difference. Oh.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Okay,
so,
wait, no!
Okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
I wanted to explore that whole room. Hey, Dib! Okay, well, I had to walk every direction but forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Okay. Doing alright. Tired, but okay. Click on the table. Photo frame. Turn the floor lamp off and then on again. So he made a game. I am back from Texas. I am in Pennsylvania. Look, it's that same thing right here. What is this? Why is that here again? Shelves? What are the shelves? There's the shelves. Okay. I don't think you can say that anything is the best or worst art form. I think it's cool that video games can use different art forms. Oh, do they, Cyber? Interesting. So now I'm back in my prison.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events.
Oh my god. You should give me a moment to realize that myself, Davy.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
So he's using game as a form of self-therapy. He's working through something, and finding the answer and the solution is really significant. And so he's not, like, he doesn't have the, oh, maybe I should stop making games about prisons, because he's not making games to be games. Like, they exist solely for his purposes. So he's not like, gosh, I sure have explored this idea. He's like, I haven't figured out what I want to say about it. So I'm going to keep saying it until I figure out what I want to say, and I say that. That's my thought. I could be wrong. No, this is definitely not a person who just thinks prison games are cool. Oh no, Judd Killer, I'm sorry. We even started a little bit late, but this game doesn't let me. God, there's an invisible wall. This game's got my number. How is this a prison game? Okay, Davy, you'd better explain why this counts as a prison game to you, because this doesn't seem to. Now I'm in the phone booth. Oh, this is why it's a prison game. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the connection was to Cal. Now I see it. So he's talking to himself.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
Yeah, it's all about communication.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Telling himself it's going to be okay eventually. So yeah, here he's, I guess, working through his fears and his reassurances. And so, you know, X here tells me that he's kind of doesn't feel like he can just be himself, but he wants to just be himself. He also has a hard time, I assume, being honest and open about his feelings specifically. Just talk to yourself. And this right here is where I come to the conclusion that Coda is sincere.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Like, that right there tells me that he's not... So what we have here is a character study, and we're probably going to wind up thinking about human nature and ourselves along the way, because that's what good character studies do for us. But whether Coda is a person or a character created by Davy, he's the person that we've been presented with, and since I don't make a distinction between fantasy people and real people anyway, thanks, brain, well, I'll go ahead and keep exploring this character as though he's a person. Oh my gosh, Knox, you're such a cutie on my printer, like a cute little baby. Look at you. I'm gonna give you your fluids. I'm gonna give you a big helping of your fluids tonight. So I think that the notes that are left, I mean, some of them are clearly from him, and some of them are clearly what he imagines other people will say about him. And I think some of it is him reassuring himself that other people are bad, and so their opinions don't really matter, but he also really desperately wants to connect with them. He wants to find people who understand, but he wants to be able to be open and honest and have that be okay. Note, Dreadkiller, I played Stanley Parable, and this is by one of the Stanley Parable guys. So they're like connected, and I talked about playing this game, but I didn't get around to it when I played Stanley Parable, which was some time ago, actually. Wow. I think I played Stanley Parable when I was still living in the duplex in Austin, so that was a while ago. But so this is new to me. I did not know anything about it going in, except that it was by one of the Stanley Parable guys, which he then says in the very introduction that he's a Stanley Parable creator, So yeah, so I am at this point invested and interested in Coda as a person. Yeah, Dreadkiller, no, I've never played this game before. So I'm invested in Coda as a person. I have sympathy for him and patience and compassion for him, even when he's a little bitter and judgmental, because he's clearly
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Most important. Oh. Right, but if that's the case... I don't think so, Sam. What is the other game? Oh, that is that one! No, but if we finish this game in time, we'll do a double feature of that one. I've been told that one is very short. I'm really slow at this. And look, it's a house. There's a person with the spinning head. So we're gonna go talk to that person. Well, we could, or we could go up there. Well, let's see if we can get inside the house. This is a nice house, but it sure is a lonely location, isn't it? Oh, there's a bunch of people here. Hey, cat. Oh, the chimes! They mentioned, like, one of the people who wrote notes mentioned the chimes. I don't think I noticed the chimes in the previous level. I don't even know if level is the right word. Hello. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games.
I didn't actually.
Including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work.
Huh.
And this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Huh. Okay. Clear the table, okay. Hi, Edward. Good to see you. Have you been? Oh, look, everything wound up in the. That's nice. He actually bothered to like put everything in the sink. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like kind of made his peace with the fact that he wants it to be okay, and he can get some strength of himself, but he's still lonely. Run to the bedroom and make the bed. Everything's nice and neat as it should be. Yeah, I was about to say, straightening out the rug. All the little details matter. Is this person that we're talking to somebody that he wants? The kind of person he wants in his life? It's very interesting, Kat. It is much easier to clean someone else's house than your own. You know? That is definitely true. I have a much easier time helping other people with their problems than I do with mine. And that translates into cleaning and organizing things. Putting somebody else's life in order lets you feel like you've done something. Make it especially cheesy. Oh no, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. No, no, I didn't mean it that way. I was trying to like joke a little bit. I wonder if he would have said that no matter what he chose. I don't know why that one line is the one that really gets me. It's just so reassuring. Like, this is him imagining somebody who can be there for him and care, and you don't need to clean things perfectly. Just do your best. When I organize shelves of books, I never do it the
After
way
the intense set of prison
people
games,
do.
his house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Yeah, so you've got this very lovely, I guess that's why he had to make it look right. Like, he spent so much time making this place look like home. Because, like, if you just throw together a building, it doesn't feel like home, but, like, if you're playing a game where you can construct your own home, and you go through and you put all the little personal touches and you think about where things go and why things are there, that's really important. Clear the table again.
I know that Coda really liked this game.
Yeah.
Of all his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
I really want to know who he is and whether he's real and whether he disappeared. Like, that matters. Gotta get the earnest answer. Yeah. I guess you could just run around and do this all day.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Yeah.
But, of course,
My
it
eyes
can't
hurt.
last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
That's a good way of putting it. Hey, Skapluni, thank you for the host. Hold on, my eyes are really, really hurting, and I'm not sure why. Why is crying making my eyes hurt? I cry plenty. I don't know. I imagine I look like a mess right now. So I can do this. No, I'm not wearing any makeup today, Nick. Dust, maybe. Allergies, I don't think so. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Yes, no, this is definitely an example of a narrative that couldn't exist outside of a game. I might go get some water and wash my face. Probably sweat, I don't know. It's pretty warm in here. Okay, here, hold on. I'll be right back. Thanks, Rolling Peanut Shell. If you guys don't mind sitting here for a little bit. I might, just to keep Davy from giving us any more feedback. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let me see, what did I miss? What kind of conversations have we been having? Hey, thanks. The Stig's Brazilian's cousin, huh? Arguing about ice cream? Gosh, what kind of ice cream are we arguing about? Why did I wind up hitting the... Let's see. Thanks, Avalon. Welcome, Stig. Nice to have you here. Oh my gosh, very sweet ice cream. Yes. I do like ice cream. Oh, Phazonic Steel, hi. Welcome. My goodness. A bunch of new friends. Man, I definitely had some ice cream yesterday. So my eyes aren't hurting right now, which is good. I think I can do this. Chapter 10, House. I think this might be the first time that, in a while, maybe because we spent so long with Night in the Woods and I was really, I don't know. A lot of times I'm sad for another person, but I don't know. This is interesting, especially not knowing whether the character is a person or not. You know, like whether he's real or if this is a story we're being told. I don't know. With Coda? No, actually, Mini Kitty, I don't. Coda and I have very different challenges emotionally. The walls are gone. All of them. As if telling you it's time to go. Trying to play like it's a PC game, if only so I can jump. Blues, I don't know that there's spoiler territory, but as far as emotional resonance, this section that we just played is probably the most affecting section of the game. So if you're wanting things to go, if you're wanting to go blind, interesting, no stairs here. So you can come for a time, and things will be better. Then you have to go back out into the world and see what comes next.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
You love it.
This one gets a bit goofy.
I would love to see his goofiness. Oh my gosh. Talk. Bye, Rolling Peanut Shell. Good luck with your finals. That's not good. Oh gosh. Oh no. So this is something I struggle with. Feelings of wanting to be perfect.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
The fact that there's like a portal to hell in the back of the classroom is pretty scary. Oh. Oh. Oh dear. Oh, Oh, there's only the right answer. The right answer is yellow. The wrong answer is gray. I have Sauron as an undergrad. That is some much needed humor. Thank you, Chrono. And Axel, tag teaming on that. Oh my god. Yeah, this game is it is a surreal experience, definitely. Oh my gosh, okay, we're doing a good job with this.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
I wonder whether these are actually the games that he made before he made the Stanley Parable, because they seem kind of like something he would do.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
It's the exact same textures, same objects. Stage, huh? So now we're feeling we have to perform our perfection. Hey. All these stage boxes. You know, I've actually always wondered, like, are these the boxes? No, you can't jump on things, can you? No! This game is not designed for jumping. No. Oh my gosh. Wow, yeah. Haha. So I have to investigate, even though I know there's not going to be anything back here. I still have to look at it. You guys know how that goes, right? Just in case. Oh, wow. I hate the whole theater. This is the teacher's voice, the yellow voice that we saw before. Okay. Oh. Huh. Oh no. The music is really uncertain. Alright, let's have an awkward conversation in which we try to talk to somebody we look up to. Haha, it didn't help, yeah. How do you talk to a person? Final Fantasy VI is a fantastic game. Yeah, so honesty, and oversharing. Gosh darn. These are all things that a person would say if they were awkward and didn't know how to begin a conversation. You're gonna get yelled at for that. That's not what I said to her at all. Hey Cole! Oh, thank you! Well, I cried some, so. These cones that bounce when you touch them represent the people nearby. So they make the pizzicato string sound. So she's happy. Wise. Oh, these are attributes. Happy, wise, successful. This is what we see when we look at her. Focused. Flattery. The music is falling apart. No, her top face is just flat green. Step back from the stage. Oh, look, it's the light post. Does that mean we're over? We're done. We failed the mission. We can't do this. We don't know how to do this. Or are we heading to the darkness? Ah, yes. Oh, good luck, Cole. Yeah, I guess we've had a few people working on finals right now. Sorry, I realized that jumping is not really appropriate for the tone of the game, but... oh.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know,
yeah.
it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
But he's making them for himself. He's not making them for you.
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Yes, Cole, it will be. Absolutely. Blind. Honestly, Cyber, I've kind of accepted that it's going to go in that territory.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Medical. Blind. Truth. The only truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
Yeah, this is a
First
call
off,
for help.
he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
So there's Whisper again. The Whisper engine at the beginning. Will you sacrifice yourself to stop the Whisper engine and save us all? So here's admitting that you have a problem to stop from being crushed by it. I assume.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
So I'm okay playing a game about depression. If this is something that is going to be very upsetting to you, you might want to step away and pet a cat. So please take care of yourselves, all right? Please? The last thing I want is for something that I do is like a fun hobby to share with people to actually hurt somebody. So please, know your limits. There's absolutely no shame in tapping out. So, do what you have to do. Okay, Chrono, that works? That works. Or if you're feeling that way and you don't have a pet or anybody or anything to pet, just, if this is a bit much or if this is going to get a bit much, step out and send a message to a friend. Just say, hey, thinking about you. Hope you're all right. Or however, I guess you would put it in your words. But please don't be hurt by this, okay? The music starts off being really reassuring, but then it isn't. It like rewinds. Haha. That's okay, Phasonic Steel. We'll be playing Dark Souls on Thursday, in which I will determine what I'm gonna do about the great mystery and pretend that's happening in that world. So we'll see what happens there. So if you want just a regular game, that'll be the time to do it. This game got a bit heavy, so we'll see you when we're playing something a bit less heavy. So enjoy your evening and thank you for joining us. I hope we'll see you again, okay? Please come by again. Oh, more of the world is showing up now. Oh, somebody's talking. Yeah, I know, Blues. I'm already prepared. I have to go talk to the box of bones. Yes, I know, Cyber, right? Dark Souls is definitely a game about feeling better. Oh my gosh. I don't think Nox is... Oh my gosh, okay. Oh, well, thank you, Phasonic Steel. So it's interesting that he found a solution of sorts and then didn't know what to do from there. And it was because things were okay. The Whisper Machine. But it is because he found a solution that made him feel better that he then got lost. I don't know that I have Dr. Langiscalf, but I think I do. You know, Money Kitty, I haven't played it, but he has said that it was... He has said that it was him being a teenage edgelord, so... That's alright, Avalon. Sleep well, and we'll see you when we see you next. So have a good evening. It was nice talking to you earlier today, too. Oh, okay, good. Then maybe I'll just pick that up. Okay, the internet makes it easy for the embarrassing things we've done to be visible forever.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
And I'm really curious, like, when he had his success that he then ran away from, we don't see any indication of him having success, which is why I wonder whether Coda is not in fact Davy. If Stanley Parable came out at this point and he ran away from that success, because Stanley Parable was a successful game.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet. And so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
If the puzzle doesn't work this time, that's going to be really sad. Yeah, that would not surprise me, Cyber. That's honestly, like, that's the part that doesn't fit here, is that there is this imposter syndrome and subsequent depression that, as far as we can tell, with Coda as somebody who doesn't release games into the world, doesn't really seem connected to anything. So it would make more sense for it to come from somebody that we know had a very successful game. So I suspect that this is Davy talking us through a younger version of Davy. So I'm having to do this while Nox is curled up on my hand and purring.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
It's very interesting Yeah, well, Tin Kelp, all of that is kind of vague and unclear at this point. Like, is Davy just exploring a character, and he has this, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a facade, but, like, basically, like he's putting forth the story that he is friends with this character who doesn't necessarily actually exist, and that none of this perhaps happened, but this is Davy inserting himself into this fictional story that he's telling us. I don't know. Because Davy the narrator is very scripted, and Davy the person presumably is not. Seriously. These are the lines that I think I was supposed to say. Because I didn't say deal, I said it doesn't matter what I say. Oh, somebody is sobbing. That is not just sobbing, that is that is not a good breathing. That is not good. That is No, this is not horror, this is just heartbreak. Oh. These are things that I've said. In other games. I hear a lot of people who are creators saying that sort of thing, who talk about like, oh yeah, you know, sure it's hard, but I'm gonna keep doing it, I'm gonna persevere, I've got this, and it is so clearly not true. And it's something I thought people were making up when they said that on social media people pretend that everything is okay and give you this greatest hits. Because I don't do that. Bye Blues, we'll see you later. I hope you enjoyed this game when you play it. It seems like, or at least I hope you get a lot out of this game. I don't know if enjoy is the right word. But I mean, it's true that the version of me that I put forth on social media, that I put forth out there, is not like the complete picture. Like the picture of me that you guys see is not the full picture of Lauren, because to a certain degree I choose what I show you, and if you know somebody, really know somebody, you see even the parts of them that they would rather not show you. Eventually those will come out. You will see me in 3D, but here you only see what the camera shows. And so it's not that it's not fake. Like what I show you isn't fake, but it's incomplete. But I feel like there are people who I want to shake my friends who, a lot of them are, and I'm sorry to put you guys through this sound again, but a lot of my friends I have a lot of musicians and composers and people who want to work in the games industry, and they're always like, not all of them, obviously. Some of them are like, this is actually really hard, and I don't know if I can do this, and that's pretty great. No, my lower half is not a dog. Probably be more likely to be a cat. I definitely am more fluent in cat than dog. But no. Okay, well, if that's easier for you guys, I don't mind doing this. December 2010. This is not... I'm going to stop trying to solve the riddle of whether Davy is Coda and Coda's story is actually Davy's story. Yeah, I forgot that you can pause the game to stop the sounds. But it's immensely frustrating that whenever people talk about how hard things are, they frequently have to be like, but I'm persevering, but I've got it, but I love the challenge. And I'm like, do you really love the challenge? Do you really love the fact that you throw your resume at a position 30 times and get no bites? Do you really love that you have to work jobs that aren't what you want to do while you continue to try to work in a really, really crowded field? Do you enjoy crunch? You don't enjoy crunch. You don't actually enjoy that. No, but Chrono, there's a difference. What I'm saying here is I'm not talking about people who are working on a passion project on the side. I'm talking about people who are trying to make a career out of something. Because if you're trying to make a passion project on the side, like, yes, you love it, although you don't love, like, I don't love the fact that writing is really frustrating. I don't love the fact that I know that I can pour my heart and soul into something and it'll get rejected. I don't love the fact that in order to write a 3,000 word short story, sometimes I have to write 12,000 words and throw 9,000 of them away. I don't love that. And I don't claim to love that. And some people, I think, claim to love the hard parts because they want to show potential employers. Because there's a lot of times it's people who are trying to break into the industry or working like as freelancers in the industry. And they want to show people just how hungry they are for this work. And I feel for them. I really do. But I'm like, guys, you are hurting yourself. And the number of them that... It's like people... Okay, how's this? People trying to do Twitch for a living. Do you mind that I'm just like... wandering off this way and then like wandering off that way, and like there's this game waiting for me and I'm just like doop 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 doop. I guess that's what I do. But no, I know a lot of people who want to be professional streamers. I don't want to be a professional streamer. I don't want to do that because I know too many professional streamers. I have friends who do it full time, and you know what it does? It messes you up. Psychologically, emotionally. Even like some of the most stable people I've known are not stable anymore because they're full-time streamers, and it's an inherently unstable job. Like you're subject to the whim of fans, to the whim of Twitch. Like if any moment you're not streaming, you're losing. And it's not that it makes you hate creating, it's that there's so much pressure to try to do everything perfectly. And yet there are people who are trying to work their way up who always talk about how much they love the grind. They love the grind. It's so great. And there's this wonderful challenge and they're just thrilled and they just can't. And I'm like, that's a lie. It's a lie. Well, I mean, okay, Manny Kitty, it is very important to be able to, it is important to be able to survive, but people can do their creative things for a living and pay their bills. That can be done. So you do not absolutely have to have a job that allows you to survive if your creativity, like if you are able to get a job that lets you survive doing your creative work. And that happens. Some people can get that. You shouldn't count on that, and you should probably have a backup plan or two. Yeah, no, like, I mean, I'm a musician, but I've never had any interest in being a professional musician. Like, I cover video game music. That's what I do. There's not really a career path there. No, but Sam, I would argue that the loving the grind mentality that people say is a performative statement rather than the actual truth of how they feel. Because the way that they say it is untrue. Because the way they say it is to say it to be heard, to impress other people, to show other people how dedicated they are. And I think that's really unhealthy in a field that already has problems encouraging people to damage themselves. So if you say, I enjoy the process, I love creating work even though it's hard sometimes, that's truth. I believe that. But when people, through gritted teeth that they think looks like a smile, tell you how much they sure do love how hard they have to work, and it's not real. And that's what I think this is saying right here, when it's like you have to tell people how fun it is, how great it is, how easy it is. You have to, like, show no weakness. I don't think that's how it works. And most of the people I know who are actually successful don't talk like that. It's usually the up-and-coming people who are really struggle. And it's, I don't know. Sam, I think we're talking about two different things here. Because I'm not talking about people being willing to put up with the hard work. I'm talking about people outright having to lie about how they feel so that they can give the impression that nothing hurts them. And it's not good. And so whenever I see somebody talking like that, it kind of makes my skin crawl. And not like in a, like, I judge them and dislike them. But yes, Humani Kitty, I'm just inclined to disagree with that psychologist, I think, just like across the board. But I have moments sometimes where I'm confident when I'm creating, where I really feel it and I love it. And there are times that I'm just like, everything that I do is terrible. And it's this horrible roller coaster ride. And like, depending on where you are. See, again, Dread Killer, we're not talking about the same thing. I'm not saying that people don't enjoy challenges. I enjoy challenges. Like, I enjoy things being hard sometimes and overcoming them and having that feeling of satisfaction. I like doing a hard thing and being like, I think I might be able to get this, and then getting it. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the pressure on people in creative fields to pretend that everything is hunky-dory all the time. That is what I am talking about. And that's what this game is talking about. And that is a thing that I see my friends, aspiring composers, aspiring games, like game writers, aspiring game sound designers, aspiring Twitch streamers, all of these people, and some of them like early stage career. Sometimes they're later stage career. But what I'm specifically talking about is not people not liking things that are hard. I'm talking about people feeling that they need to pretend that everything is okay when it's not. And that's extraordinarily dangerous. It's dangerous for them because they're not getting the help they need. It's dangerous for other people who actually think they're telling the truth, and therefore have unrealistic expectations for what the job is like, or who then might feel like, oh, well, I'm a failure because I don't feel that way. And it's this artifice that we construct. For what reason? Why? Why must these people pretend that everything is okay when it's not? Why not say, there are things that are grossly unfair about this industry. There are things that are really hard and I struggle with them. And it's still worth it to me. And I'm doing my best. But it's that charade. That's what I'm talking about. Not that nobody actually enjoys working hard, because I don't think that's true. I enjoy working hard. I enjoy a feeling of accomplishment. I enjoy challenges. I actually do. It has to be worth it to me. But like whether like either because like the challenge isn't that bad or the reward is good or something like that. But it's not that people don't want to do. It's not that people don't want to work hard. It's that people feel the need to perpetuate a falsehood that everything is great when it's not great. It's okay, Cyber. My brain is also fried. So anyway, this right here, this thing that this is skewering, if you want to say this is on the nose, maybe this is on the nose, but this is a very real thing that happens with people who work in games. Largely on the audio side, I know a lot of people like that. And people who work as Twitch streamers, it happens a lot. This is why I'm not trying to do this professionally. This is why I'm not trying to be, I would love to be a full-time fiction writer. It would be fantastic. I in theory, it seems like it would be. I don't know. But I think it's good for me to be a freelance copywriter who writes fiction and does Twitch streaming and things like that. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's also kind of tied into people being like, man, I drank so much caffeine and got so little sleep and am so utterly destroying my body because I'm working hard. Isn't that great? No, it's not great. I want you to be okay. And none of those things mean you're okay. So if that's what we're addressing here, don't worry about me.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
No, they're not.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Sorry. Yeah, and I definitely have known a lot of people who've given up on the things that are creative for a lot of reasons. Oh, there she is.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
And I want to know, what's he doing with the rest of his time? Is he having like another thing that might be, oh boy, that's heavy. This is going to be heavy. Oh, hey, it's the door that was going to smash us until we said the truth, which was that it wasn't easy. And then we were told that we had to pretend it was easy. Hello, guard. Ma'am. Interesting. Coda's other self, like there was a woman before, and this is, oh, it is a puzzle door, isn't it? Tin Cal. Quick, quiet, or brutal. None of these are good answers. My goodness. Well, there's that answer, Frodo. Bye, Sam. Well, thanks for dropping by, and I hope that you are doing well. Yeah, I think that that's a good point, Cyber. The dichotomy between genius and talent and how we perceive the two can be extremely damaging. Like how we define them, how we just distinguish between them. Oh goodness, that's a lot of press. We're gonna torture the machine, Coda. Poisonous games. Yes, you should, Sam. You should do more self-care. That's really important. Are these the same 3 dots that we saw on the wall?
And of course, it's the machine.
Have we seen the machine before? Honestly, Cole... Oh, thank you, Team Spock. Honestly, Cole, the one that I found most interesting is the one that affected me the most profoundly, which is home. This is not a room where good things happen. So here's the machine. Oh, I can talk to it. Keep us alive. So what is he saying to himself now? If those other parts are, if those people out there are other parts of himself. Let's be honest. Haha. Is this his creativity then? I really want to know what this is. So So nothing from his creativity. A single spotlight. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is, Axel. Here's our press conference. My followers, my friends notice. These are like kind of like fans or friends. Who are we going to address? Oh, thank you, Jim. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Very troubling revelation. The need for blame. You know, the need for blame. Somebody must be at fault, and it's got to be me or you. Let us pay it retribution. Unless that's sarcastic. I think one of these is a good answer. Given his tendency... Okay, so I've actually known people who deleted all of the stories that they wrote or all of the projects that they created. They would just make something and then throw it away immediately. That's not good. That's usually an indication that something's not quite right with their relationship with their creativity. But that's, I think, what he's going to do. I don't do that, but... Yes. Yes, I know, Proto. That's why I picked that answer. Because he's gone. Yeah, Cyber, that is, I think, understandable. Oh, this is the stage. I do think there's a difference between destroying your work because you have a fundamentally unhealthy relationship with your own creativity and your work, and experiencing extreme emotional trauma and taking an action because of that. So, I'm very sorry. And I guess know that all of us in this community would give you virtual hugs or real world hugs if we could, if that's any kind of consolation to know that you're not alone. And I hope you're all right now. I know things never leave you, but you can grow around them. Oh no. I'm going to just destroy the theater. Destroy the pressure on me. Everyone's expectations and also what I've created. Oh, I can shoot behind me too. I can just... Okay, well, I can't shoot the floor.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games.
No!
It might get him out of isolation.
No, I mean, isolation, yes, but feedback, no. He needs support.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback.
No,
what if I did it for it?
No.
If you could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations
you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that.
Would that bring him out of his mental
spiral? You can encourage him, you can suggest it, but you cannot do it.
Would it bring meaning back into his work?
No, that is a betrayal. That is a betrayal of trust. You cannot do that. No. No. Okay, Davy, if this is true, like, you do not know how to talk to people like that. Oh, I fell down.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions, And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
That's not the problem. The problem isn't ever actually external validation. Because if you're dependent on external validation for your sense of self-worth, it will never, ever can't do anything. Can't do anything else.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
No, I can't.
It's the thing
Davy.
that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good.
That's not actually what you need,
When
though,
someone
Davy.
really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
Yeah, no, Davy, no.
They told me how much they enjoyed his games. It was the best feeling.
It made
it's the
me-
absolute best feeling.
Yes, yes.
It made me feel so happy.
I felt this.
So beautifully, beautifully happy.
I am pretty sure that I've done something like that when I was younger.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
For those of you who don't know tarot, the tower is the card of catastrophic change. People think that death is the card you don't want. No. Death is fine. Death means there will be a change and there'll be a new beginning behind it. It doesn't necessarily even mean it's going to hurt any more than just saying goodbye to something. But the tower is going to hurt. It doesn't matter where it appears. It doesn't matter whether it's inverted or not. Yeah, I don't think we can simplify this by saying it's chasing dopamine. Yes, no, when you get the tower, you are in for a world of hurt. And sometimes things are better at the end, but it's going to take a while to see that. It may be maybe a necessary thing of growth and change. But...
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
oh no. We are in the spotlight. I mean, I don't know if that's the tower he meant, but given that it has 3 tarot cards. Earlier in the game, I think that is what it means. Catastrophic change. Yes, no, the art design is absolutely stunning and chilling at the same time.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Does it now? Makes me think of the maze in,
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
yes, he's angry with you, Davy.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Sorry, guys. I'm not quite... Yeah. Wow. Wall 128, 128. No, Cole, I don't think I can, and I'm not sure that. I mean, I might be able to if I was dedicated enough. but I'm not sure I want to do that to me or to you. How's this? I don't think that, I don't think it's just his anger at Davy, Axel. I don't think this whole thing is a punish, but I think he's trying to make Davy understand the pain that he feels, and he is making it a painful experience. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I don't think it's as simple.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. That one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
And now Davy is pretending that he doesn't know what that means. His character of Davy that he is presenting to us, he is pretending that this character doesn't know it. Obviously, a character who's able to read so much into other things would not be like, gosh darn, I have played Portal. Half-Life is not really for me, but I have played Portal 1 and Portal 2. That makes sense if this is Portal. Like, the Portal engine. Oh dear. That looks like a code that you have to unlock.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Ha 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 ha. Buddy, you are not as observant as you could be. Which number is the tower? Is that 17? Yes, thank you, Serious Inc. Okay, so you actually have to do it, right? Okay. I mean, I guess if it's a linear experience. Okay, you do, and it is. He did give you the code before, my friend. I mean, we can start unpeeling like the layers of what's going on here. The depression, the self-loathing, the self-blame, the other blame, the hopelessness, the despair, the feelings of being trapped, having to pretend.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first two challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
That's a...
But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
There's something about being the friend who wants to fix things, and I have been that friend. But you can't actually fix things on your own. You can only hold someone else's hand while they fix the problem. Or while they fix themselves.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow.
Oh, Davy.
I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Yeah. No,
I remember. It's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew. It wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them...
made sense. Oh, the music changing to the choir is a very nice effect there. Yes, Axel, that is very toxic to everybody involved. And I would actually say that Davy...
I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't.
Did he do the voice acting himself? Pink. Okay. Thanks, Tin Kelp. I wasn't sure.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have
saved him.
somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Easier to fix his problem,
But he
easier
stopped
to fix someone
and
else's
left.
house.
And it felt somehow like I had failed.
You can't stake your sense of self-worth on your ability to heal someone else. Take the left path, I suppose. I'm a left-handed person. I'm glad that the ending of this has gotten to Davy talking about Davy, because
Where did I
ultimately
screw up?
that's what Davy needs to address. That's what Davy needs to solve here.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Yeah. That's why he sent the game.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your
Meta.
work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Yeah. Yes. And then, of course, the ultimate betrayal. We're playing the games right now. desperate to be the wise person who understands the meanings. So desperate to be able to interpret things that you add interpretations and you add meaning. Oh. Oh. Oh.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yes. Huh. So here it turns out that Coda actually has a healthy understanding of the creative process, and Davy is the unhealthy one. Yes, Flutybot, reminding us that self-care is important. Hi, Nox. Yes. That says a lot. Ha! Ha! You're not my problem to solve.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Yep. Yes.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything.
Okay, so this is totally character.
So a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply,
definitely a work of fiction.
Will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever been Davy.
More.
Coda.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good.
Maybe not entirely.
Always more.
Because
it's like a disease.
You cannot put your sense of self-worth externally. You cannot build your identity based on how other people see you and what other people say about you, or you will always need that reassurance. And I say that because the past 2 years has been a period of intense struggle for me as I attempt to wrench pieces of myself into some sort of shape that I can recognize when I can't see myself. I've never been able to see myself, but I have to be able to see myself. You know? You have to be able to see yourself for yourself, by yourself, without somebody else's vision. Like, I feel like for most of my life, I have only known myself through what I can do for other people. I can only judge myself based on what other people say, because if I look down at myself, I don't see anything. I have to hold up mirrors around myself to have any sense of what is at the center of it all. You know? And at some point I realized that when I have told people my whole life that I don't know who I am and I don't know what I am, I don't know what I like, I can't give consistent answers. I don't know what kind of a person I am. I've never known. And so I've desperately tried to do the right thing every time I can, trying to help people, because I don't know who I am, but I would really like to be a good person. So if I take the actions of a good person and other people say, those are the actions of a good person, then the only sense of self I've ever had comes from what people tell me. And then I can feel like I'm a good person. I can feel like, okay, that shows me that the shell around me, the identity that I have, is a good person. And I desperately want that. But I don't know that I have that. And I don't know how it is that some people are born with knowing who they are, and like that changes. Like they come to a different understanding of themselves, or their self changes, or something like that happens. That's fine. But there is this fundamental knowing of yourself that probably most of you have, and I have never had. Ever. And I didn't really give words to it until I kind of, through a series of events, found out that, like, okay, actually there are other people who have other problems that are the same kind of problems that I have. And this one fundamental issue of not knowing who you are, not having a sense of identity, is actually something that some other people have. And that made me feel like it was something I could overcome. And so, no, but Chrono, I'm not saying that people know each other perfectly, or know themselves perfectly. I'm not saying that anyone has a perfect vision of themselves, because nobody can. You're going to have a warped vision through your perspective, through your actions, through what you want to be, through what you're afraid of, through the parts of yourself that you won't look at. But I don't have any of that. Fundamentally, since I was a little girl, there was some point maybe in my life that I had it, and then I lost it. And I have been trying so hard the past couple of years, focusing really, really hard on trying to put it together. Because as long as you are depending on outside sources to know who you are, it takes nothing to hurt you. It takes nothing at all to destroy you. It takes nothing at all to convince you that you are the lowest of the low. You know? And you will always be vulnerable, because you will always be afraid that if somebody says something bad about you, you have no way of arguing. If somebody says you are a terrible, selfish, destructive, emotionally violent person, if you don't know who or what you are, how can you argue with that? How can you say that's not true? You know? Maybe it is true. And, you know, with a general lack of self-worth, you're more inclined to believe that. That's the part that sticks. That's the part that's more likely to be like, well, those people who tell me that are probably the ones telling me the truth. Maybe. Maybe not. And I guess, like, honestly, the truth is always going to be something in the middle. It's never going to be an absolute. But I kept a file cabinet of every paper I'd ever written that I got an A on in all of high school and college. So, you know, 8 years worth of papers, stories I'd written, things the teachers had said, good job, this is great. And I realized that the reason why I held on to it was because there were times that I needed to have that chorus of voices telling me that I was good at something. I needed to have that chorus of voices telling me that I was worth something, because I just didn't. And people think, oh, you just want attention. No, it's that I desperately want to know who I am and to not hate myself. I guess just like Davy. And it was a matter of survival. It's not that I'm, like, desperate for attention. It's that I needed mirrors to show myself something about myself. And it's not a matter of whether wanting attention is good or bad. But it's something fundamental. You have to build it up yourself. Like, you have to know who you are. You have to have something innate. You cannot get it from the outside. Like, it has to be, and it's so painful. And I honestly don't know if I'm constructing myself or if I'm learning what's there by feeling around like I'm completely blind and grabbing at things and saying, what is this thing that I find? Or am I wrenching things? Like, every time I am able to say with confidence, I am a person who, it's like this magnificent victory. I am a person who is really stubborn. I'm a person who is contrary. I'm a person who, when I am confronted with a problem, I want to find a solution. I am a person who will find a way, even if it means limping by on broken legs. Like, I am a person who doesn't give up. I don't have very many things like that I can say. I can't even say I'm fundamentally a person who cares, but I think I am. I can say I'm fundamentally a person who feels very big emotions. And that's just a part of who I am, and that will always be a part of who I am. And whether I can learn how to manage those emotions more effectively, and I think I can. And I honestly think that knowing myself and having the stability that a sense of identity will give me, I think will make it easier for me to hold those emotions. Because it's like I don't have skin emotionally. It's like I'm nothing but a burn victim, raw, open flesh exposed. The slightest breath hurts. And when that happens, you lash out when somebody hurts you. And it's completely disproportionate to what they did or said. But it genuinely hurts so much that you lash out proportionate to how much it hurts. And it shouldn't hurt that much, but it does. But if you build a sense of identity, I really believe that's putting, it's not even callous, it's just skin over your raw self. And so I'm just desperately trying to figure out who I am. And I know that most people can understand it to a certain degree, but I don't know that most people feel like they're looking at a dark, unknown hole, like a nothing, like an emptiness when you look at yourself. Like, even taking like personality quizzes and things like that, like, I don't even know how to answer those questions. I like to complain about the fact that things place me in Gryffindor, even though I hate Gryffindors, like the Gryffindor stereotype, like I hate it, but I love that it puts me there, and I say, for better and for worse, that's the house. I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan, but for better and for worse, that's the house I belong in, because I'm stubborn and I'm determined and I love my friends, but I'm also kind of self-important. I don't think the rules apply to me. Like some of those attributes, like, I'm like, no, those are mine. Which is part of why Transistor was so cool, because as I was playing through it, and if you haven't played Transistor, I'll be very careful not to spoil it, but like, Red, I haven't had a character where I'm like, she's doing what I would do for the reasons I would do it, and it's kind of cool to be like, hold up. That means I know what I would do. And that's actually a really big deal to me. And I think part of why and I think part of why I stream was originally because I wanted to be seen in a way. I wanted other people to see me so that I knew who and what I was, so that I could have this camera pointing at me the way I want it to be pointed at me. And I used to like talk to my therapist, because of course, like, you get therapy when you've got, like, mental illness and personality disorder and things like that. And you can say, space alert, that more people feel like I'm saying than I expect, but I have a personality disorder. Like, I have a diagnosed personality disorder, and this is one of the symptoms that made me know that it was an accurate diagnosis. because I think you understand. But I think there's still something you have that I don't have, and that's good, and I want you to have it, and I understand that you struggle, and I understand that some of this may sound familiar, and I understand that I'm not the only one who has this struggle, but there's degrees. But yeah, my therapist, I remember talking to her at some point, and I was just heartbroken and devastated, and I was like, there's this mask I wear as Lauren the Flute, and I wish I could be Lauren the Flute. Like, I wish I could be who I am pretending to be when I am pretending to be Lauren the Flute. Like, I feel like she's more patient, more compassionate, more understanding, more thoughtful, more creative, just all of these things of what I want desperately to be, and streaming lets me pretend to be the person that I want to be, and I wish I was that, and I hate that I'm not. My therapist was like, where do you think those traits come from, Lauren? She was like, you know, those aren't necessarily all of who you are, and you may have other attributes that contradict those. But if if who you want to be is the person who uses, like the person who has those attributes, then as you're shaping yourself, push those attributes forward, because they're there in you, or you wouldn't be able to pretend to be them. Which was actually a pretty big deal for me. So this is a game purportedly about depression, but I think it's more about identity and the lack thereof, and having to find an internal locus of control for self-worth. In a way, anyway. And I know that's kind of a stretch of the definition of that term, but having to believe that, like, you can have the sense of worth, you can have the sense of identity, like it. And so I've had to turn away from, yeah, no, it is cyber. It is absolutely. Davy was looking at this and saying, look at the compassionate, wise friend that I am, that I can see this person's depression, and I care about this person's depression. And I do think that you could make the argument that Davy's depressed, but depression is not Davy's fundamental problem. I think that depression may be comorbid, or it may be a symptom of Davy's fundamental problem, but Davy's fundamental problem is a lack of self-esteem at the very least. And not like a low self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, which is part of why people are codependent. And this is a problem that I have. I'm really good at making people feel better about themselves. I always have been. I think I developed it as a survival mechanism as a little girl, for a whole number of factors, and there are a whole number of things about me that made me able to do it. But people who don't have a sense of self-worth of their own, they have an identity, but they don't have a sense of self-worth. And so they become addicted to how it can make them feel better about themselves. They try to get more and more. It's like a drug. And I've had to be like, you know, you're my friend and I care about you, but I have to be me without you. And you have to solve this problem yourself. A lot. Like, I've had a lot of codependent relationships in my life. It's not good. Then at this point now, I don't do codependency, but people still try to put those codependent hooks in me, and I have to say, you know, I see what you're doing. You need to not do it. Sorry, Coda. I guess I feel you on that one. So here we are. It took work. Tried to kill her. Or not kill her, stolen light, sorry. No. Oh my god. And that, my friends, is what we call comic relief. This is actually something that he does sometimes when Proto knows that I'm like kind of at a breaking point, but I've like processed through stuff, and like a little levity will help. I think so. I mean, like, I'll come out and say it right here on stream. I can't promise what the future will hold, and I don't know if I'm capable of having a healthy relationship. But I can say that I feel like at least my relationship with Proto is probably the first non-codependent romantic relationship I've ever had. So far so good on that front. If you work really, really, really hard, you can actually change things. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. I feel like that's part of its value, though, Space Alert. Not to talk about art as valuable, but this game is a game that has value. I think, oh, no, that is very true, Chrono. Love is not all you need, and that's why I divorced my ex-husband. Because he was a very good person, but our relationship was not good for either of us. Which is really hard to admit to yourself when you've put 13 years into a relationship and tried everything you can. But I learned a lot. So, yeah. It's a good point, Space Alert. No hands on the clock. Clock's on all four directions. Neither of them tells you what their mood is. It feels like we're in a train station, doesn't it? Thanks, Cyber. Honestly, like, I can't even say like how much I've worked through, and I don't think, probably not Cole. I don't think that guy's, I don't think that director's games are for me. But I'm probably going to hear all about it from my sister because she likes them. But yeah, no, David Cage is probably not for me. Based off Grand Central Station, I can see that actually. But I don't feel like and it's something I've had to ask myself. Do I need to stream? Does streaming fill a void in me that I need to learn to fill myself? Am I reliant on you guys? And there have been a couple of times when I was going through my breakup, the first few months after that, when I would go on Discord and just bleed all over things and be like, I desperately need someone to be here and tell me it's okay. That was inappropriate. I was also in a really bad place emotionally, and I kind of realized that was an inappropriate thing to do, and I stopped doing it. And I don't think I've done it since. And I don't need you guys. I like having you in my life, though. And so having the opportunity to work through these things and talk through these things with the games that we play, the conversations we have, has meant a lot to me. And I really have processed a lot. And I hope that I've provided opportunities for you guys to process things. Just as this game, just as Davy created this game, probably to process something that he didn't like about himself, that he wanted to shine a spotlight on it. Also knowing that in doing so, he would probably provide an opportunity for other people to do the same. What do you mean by that, Axel? I mean, part of it is, yeah, I think that's all right, Space Alert, and I think that's kind of, as far as I can tell, that's kind of one of the things that I do. Dreadkiller, I think it was partly just like the nature of the relationship that I have with the Floaty Pies that made it inappropriate. Because I think that people could have very easily felt pressured or obligated to support me in a way that would be detrimental to themselves, just because I'm the leader of this community. So I've tried to be very careful because I don't want to lead to unhealthiness. Yeah, Axel, people have a hard time opening up and feeling like they're a burden on their friends. And that is something that I think has to be worked through. This is a very beautiful building, and it's so somber and so ominous. And I hope the ending of this game is not that Coda forgives him. I hope that the ending of this game is that Davy realizes that he needs to do this himself. But we'll find out. I'm waiting on the train to take us somewhere, huh? Where is it going to take us? Maybe, Davy, if you made the games that expressed what you thought. This light's flickering. You see that? Maybe if you put the meanings that you added to Coda's games, if you put those meanings instead in your own games because those are your own feelings. Yes, okay, I will just say, any of you guys who are male identified or masculine identified, please, 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 feel like this is a space where you are encouraged to feel your emotions and express your emotions. And you're entitled to have those emotions, and there's nothing wrong with you for having them. And I think that that is harder for people who are like masculine identified to do. So yes, please feel encouraged. I think that's really important. So shall we go in here? Yeah, well, I have a tendency to try to hold in things sometimes so that I don't hurt or impose on other people, but it always comes out somehow and it hurts everyone. So I'm trying to learn to be better about admitting how I feel, even if it's going to hurt someone or they don't want to hear it. Just saying it and then addressing it instead of trying to pretend that it's not a problem. Oh man, falafel's really tasty. I do like falafel. I didn't think I did because I'd only ever had bad falafel when I was younger, and then I had real falafel. I was like, oh, where has this been? Yeah, this might be the game created by Davy. That would be really nice. If Davy was like, you know, I'm going to do this. Do you hear the water? There's water flowing. Let's get on the train. Cyber, I do want you to know that Antroid made a YouTube comment about the one pun that you made. Antroid was very excited about that. So
Solution. Solution. Solution.
come on, Davy. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it, Davy. On some level, you do actually want your friend to be happy. And now where are we? You notice that the aesthetics here are completely 100% different from what Coda made. This must be Davy's. This looks nothing like anything of Coda's. It must be Davy's. It must be.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Yeah. This house is gorgeous. I wonder if we'll get to go inside and look around. Sorry, there's a little sunlight over here. I want to look at it. Wow, this is quite a house. I don't know what I would do with this much house. I mean, I try to figure it out, but looks like he doesn't know what to do with this much house either. Still performing for an audience, huh?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Look at this. The dirt. The mirror. Oh my gosh. This is a mirror. It should be a mirror. Into the darkness. I can no longer look around. Mini Kitty, I haven't yet set up a P.O. box, but at some point I might. It could be a painting turned backwards. There were paintings. Interesting, we're in this strange underground place.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be?
Good.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
You know, this place is absolutely stunning. Like, it's very, very effective. Look at that. Let's go into the light. Let's see where it takes us. Yes, this is definitely, this is his own design.
What now?
His own meaning.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
What are you gonna do, Davy? Where are you gonna go? Going to look inside. But he's really managed to make it his own, even if it is blocky. There's an artistry to this. And thank you, for those of you who knew where this was going, for not spoiling the fact that it is clearly a work of fiction and yet also a self-exploration. I very much appreciate that. Brutalism, haha. I can see that, Cyber, actually. Hey M10, we're at the very end of this experience. It's an experience you might want to have, so don't let me spoil it for you. Hope you're doing well, though. Oh, happy birthday, M10! Shall we do it, friends? Shall we? I suspect this is going to be the end. All right. Let's... Oh, jump! Good point, Axel. Oh. Suddenly fall damage is turned on. Oh! Good, M10. I'm glad to hear it. It's always good when people have good news to report. Oh, man. And now where are we? Oh, we're back in the station. But it's different now. It doesn't have the clock. Nox is totally laying on my hand again. That's right, Nox. I'll give you your fluids. And we'll snuggle tonight. The cats have missed me. I was gone for 5 days. I really want to take a series of trips. Oh. You know, I'll talk about that later. The whisper machine. Will you sacrifice yourself so that the rest of us can exist? Will you look inward for solutions? Stop trying to fix everyone else and focus on fixing yourself. Oh, is it, Cyber? Interesting. Nox just taught me that there is a crouch button. Did you know that? Did you know there's a crouch button in this game? There's a crouch button. Thank you, Nox. The very, very end of the game, my cat has made a contribution to us. Thank you, baby cat. You're a good girl. All right. So... Come on, Davy. Let's do it. Oh, what? Right. You go through the ceiling, you see everything. It's a maze. On forever, and we're so high that we can see. I guess that's the light of the atmosphere. Oh, I just got that pun.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
I wanna know who R is, but we don't get to know, and that's good. Some of these names.
So turn back. Turn back.
Huh. Well, we beat the game. It was a beautiful game. A beautiful short ending song, too, to go with the short credits. Ah, thank you, Cyber. I recognize that name. Whew. So I think if somebody thinks that this is ham-fisted, I mean, it does tell you exactly what it's doing. The point of it isn't to be subtle, though. The point of it is to explore something. And so if that doesn't work for you, that's completely valid. And you're certainly welcome to not like it. For me, it's such an extraordinarily personal game. Which is actually really funny on a meta level now that you think about it. Wow. Oh, I'm so sorry, people. That is really sad to be that angry. And I mean, I think that says something good about people, that they are affronted on fictional Coda's behalf. But it's an interesting narrative. No, but the fact that, like, this game isn't made for me. This game isn't made for you. This game doesn't exist for any of us. This game exists because Davy wanted to explore something important to him. And so he explored it in a way that was true to him. And if that works for you, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine. Like, Stanley Parable is an experience. No, it's true, Stolen Light. It does. And especially if people didn't beat it because they got mad. Like, if you didn't beat it because you were too angry about it, I can understand, like, not quite crossing that last bridge. But Stanley Parable is an experience that was created to be explored and experienced by players. This was not. This was this was exactly what, I think this is exactly what, like, this game is an example of exactly what Davy is talking about with Coda's things. This is Davy taking a personal, like, exploring himself and asking himself his own questions. In the medium that he uses. It's just like when people who are songwriters write songs to work through their problems or try to process things that have happened to them. and artists paint, and writers constantly revisit past trauma, for example, over and over again. This game, I mean, he's a game developer, so the way he does that, the exact equivalent, is making games. And it just so happens to be a medium that is interactive, so it winds up being a thing you can play. So... Oh no, Dread Killer, can you break your message into multiple pieces so that it doesn't break Twitch? But yeah, and I think that's something that people don't realize. So like, this isn't. Oh, you can. I mean, you can send it over Discord too. I'll be happy to bring this conversation to Discord if you guys want to. Because gosh, what time is it? Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we did go over. Well, that's probably good though. I really enjoyed it. Video essays you like, but the beginner's guide. It's boy, is that an interesting title. But yeah, so when people are like, this isn't subtle, this is very ham-fisted, I'm like, no, Davy is saying what Davy wants to say. He's doing what he wants to do. It's like if you were to tell somebody your song that you wrote about heartbreak is too on the nose. No, probably not, Nick, but we might do that as like a special bonus at some other point. 'Cause I feel like that would be too much of a tonal change at this point. Although I would love to see what the other side of the Stanley Parable creation, like, what that person would do. Oh, I'm sorry, Cole. Yeah, finals are... I'm glad I don't have to do finals anymore. I don't have to work on my thesis. I am graduated. Yeah, and I think that's good, Tin Kelp. I would be... I would like to play it at some point if it's really silly, but probably not after this. I want to sit with the feelings that this game has given me, you know? I don't think there is a line between art and entertainment. I think that maybe art and entertainment is a continuum. I don't know. Then you start kind of like wondering, like, does something have no artistic value if it doesn't meet some standards of what art is? The more I create and the more I experience, the less I feel comfortable diminishing things that are entertainment only. So... I don't know. Oh man. Good luck, M10. Thesis proposal already. Though I guess this is your second semester, right? So that'll be your third semester, right? My master's program was only 4 semesters, so I guess that makes sense. Huh. Well, space labeling and categorizing things is kind of like sort of how we process things and how we feel about them, and so there's value in that. As long as we understand that the labeling that we give and the categories that we choose are more for ourselves than for anyone else. This is your first semester. Okay, I'm 10. For some reason, I thought last semester was. My sense of time has been really messed up since I moved. Just like the past couple of years, just things have been very different. Yeah, I think so, Space Alert. I think that our game's art. Like, yes, but how do you define art? And are you going to tell me that a Harlequin novel isn't art? And if so, is there somewhere along the spectrum of erotica that suddenly becomes art? Because I've heard people say that those can be artistic, and like, where do you draw the line? So it's an interesting thing. Yeah, coda being drawn from truth. Yeah. Alright, well, I think I should probably... Well, okay, so Many Kitty, I don't think that... I think if I were to review games, I don't think I would give 1 to 10 ratings. I think I would give, like, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumbs neutral. On basically, did I like it? Did I dislike it? Or did I think it was okay? And then have, like, an explanation of what I thought about it. I believe you, M10. I believe it was artsy. I believe your romance novels are artsy. And that's kind of my point. Yeah, I think if I were to review this game, I would give it a thumbs up and say I liked it. I found that it was a really compelling emotional experience. It made me think a lot about myself. And it played with narrative and like the meta approach to storytelling in a different way than Stanley Parable, but in a way that was really interesting. So, and if you like emotional games, you're all right with some meta exploration, and you want to play something a little bit different, I'd recommend it. So, that would be my review, which I'm going to try to do, not reviews, but like wrap-ups of the games that I've played, because I need to do one for Transistor, and I was like, maybe I should go back and do those for like the older games too. Older games, older streams. I don't know. We'll see. But it's something I'd like to start doing from now on. I don't think I need to do it for something that's a single session like this, because like this is my debrief. But yeah, I generally really liked this game. Good night, Cole. Good luck with finals. And yeah, M10, I would actually be interested in talking to you about that sort of thing, because I think that that's really cool that people can blend those genres. I should probably go ahead and head to bed shortly myself. I guess for our friends who are catching up on YouTube, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And I guess next week we might play a different indie game. I'll take a look at the list, because the vote was for several more indie games at the end of Thomas Was Alone, before we dive into Crisis Core. And I think at this point, I think I could probably use something a little lighter. But thank you. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me that you thank me for sharing this with you. Thank you for sharing this with me. Having people to hold my hand while I deal with something very personal is really meaningful to me. So thank you. So I'm glad that you guys have been here. I've gone through a fair bit the past couple of years, and I'm glad that streaming has been there for me. So thank you. Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Remember to love yourselves, and don't blame yourselves for things. Find reasons to love yourself. If you're not already on the Discord and you've made it through this far, please feel free to join us. Like if you're somebody who feels comfortable in these streams, like you're very, very welcome to join us on Discord, and then like social media for people. But yeah, thank you. As always, like you guys are the best audience. I couldn't ask for more. So, thank you and good night. Good night.